Has it ever happened to you that you wake up in the middle of the night for no apparent reason or feel a restlessness in your chest that won't let you be at peace? You are not alone. Today, I'm going to tell you something that can completely change your life. Think of Padre Pio, that great saint who knew the deepest secrets of the human heart. He revealed something incredible to us. There are physical signs that indicate when someone is trying to communicate with us. And no, they are not mere coincidences. They are signs as clear as the water from a spring. The most surprising thing is that these signs are happening in your life right now. But perhaps you haven't noticed them. It's like when you walk the same path every day and suddenly discover a store that has always been there, but you never saw it. I am going to share with you the 7 most important physical signs that Padre Pio taught us. When you learn about them, you will realize that they have been present all this time. In fact, I would bet that as you listen to this, you will remember situations where these signs appeared and you didn't pay attention to them. But first, I want you to do something. Close your eyes for a moment and think about how many times you have felt that something or someone wanted to tell you something important, but you didn't know how to interpret it. That feeling that there is a special message for you, but you can't decipher it. How wonderful it is to know that we are not alone, that there are signs designed for each of us. And the best part is that today, right now, you are going to learn how to recognize them. This information is so important that I need you to pay attention. If you truly want to receive these blessings, write in the comments, "I am ready to receive the signs." And if you know someone who needs to hear this, share this message with them. It may be the answer they have been looking for. Hold on tight, because what comes next is going to blow your mind. We are going to explore together these 7 physical signs that Padre Pio revealed to us. I assure you that more than one will make you say, "Wow, this is happening to me right now." So listen carefully. Padre Pio, that saint who dedicated his life to helping people, had a special gift. He could see beyond the obvious. And he discovered something amazing. The signs are there, speaking directly to our hearts, but daily life makes it hard to see them. We rush from one place to another, running around like a headless chicken, and recognizing these signs becomes complicated. It's as if we were blindfolded in the middle of a party. Everything is happening around us, but we don't see it. It is no coincidence that you are here listening to this right now. Have you noticed that the most important things in life come to us at the precise moment? Just like this message has reached you today. Padre Pio said that these physical signs are like personal letters. They are not general messages, but specific ones for each of us, like when your mum used to leave you a little note in your lunchbox. That personal, that special. But be careful, these signs are not meant to scare us. On the contrary, they are manifestations of love and guidance. They help us make better decisions in life, like a light illuminating the path when everything seems dark. The most beautiful thing is that these signs do not distinguish between rich and poor, between educated and simple people. They come to everyone equally, like the rain that falls over the field without making distinctions. And before revealing what they are, I want you to understand something. You don't need to be a saint like Padre Pio to recognize them. You just need to be attentive and have an open heart. It's like learning to ride a bicycle. At first, it seems difficult, but once you get the hang of it, you never forget. And if at this moment you are going through a difficult situation, if you feel that you need guidance and answer, get ready, because what I am going to share with you might be exactly what you have been waiting for. The first sign, when sleep becomes a message. Here comes the first sign, and I am sure it will make you say, "No way, that happens to me." Has it ever happened to you that you wake up at the same time every night, or suddenly you can't sleep even though you are exhausted? Well, there you have the first physical sign that Padre Pio taught us. It is not a coincidence. If you wake up between 2 and 4 in the morning for no apparent reason, many will say, "It's because I had a heavy dinner," or "It's because I'm worried." But hold on, there is something deeper here. Padre Pio explained that this time of the night is special. It's like when your best friend wakes you up because they have something important to tell you. That simple. In those hours of the night, when everything is silent, it is easier to receive important messages. Waking up, my dear brother, my dear sister, is not only manifested in those moments when you open your eyes in the middle of the night for no apparent reason. There is also that sudden insomnia that grabs hold of you, that has you tossing and turning in bed like a spinning top, thinking and rethinking things. Does that sound familiar? Well, there's another sign right there. Look at how interesting this is. Padre Pio used to say that those moments of wakefulness are times when we must pay attention. Not to worry more, but to listen to what is being communicated to us. It's like when your mother called you several times until you finally paid attention. That's how persistent this sign is. So, what should you do when this happens? Here comes the most powerful advice. Instead of getting angry because you can't sleep, take advantage of that moment. Breathe deeply and ask yourself, what do I need to understand in this moment of my life? It's just like when you stay up talking with a loved one until dawn. Those conversations are always the most important, aren't they? And if right now you're in the middle of a sleepless night that won't let you rest, I want you to know that it is not a nuisance but a blessing in disguise. It's like when an important letter finally arrives, one you've been waiting for. Now get ready, because the second sign is even more revealing. If the first one surprised you, this one will leave you speechless. It has to do with something we have all felt, but very few know how to interpret. It's about the restlessness that speaks. Have you ever felt a tingling in your chest, a sensation that something is about to happen, but you don't know exactly what? That, my dear brother, my dear sister, is the second physical sign that Padre Pio revealed to us, and it is much more common than you think. We're not talking about just any uneasiness, but that special feeling that appears out of nowhere, like when your heart skips a beat for no apparent reason. It's as if someone were whispering something in your ear, but you just can't quite make it out. Padre Pio explained this in a beautiful way. He said that this restlessness is like when your mother sends you signals at a family gathering with just a look. You know she's telling you something without needing words. That's exactly how this physical sign works. It's a way in which the universe, God, life, catches our attention. And no, this is not the anxiety that consumes and makes us feel bad. This is different. It's like when you are expecting great news and feel butterflies in your stomach. It's a kind of uneasiness that doesn't overwhelm, but rather alerts. Sometimes this sign appears when we are about to make an important decision. Has it ever happened to you that you just can't get something out of your head? Like when your grandmother insisted over and over that you wear a sweater because it was going to be cold. That's how persistent this sign is. And here comes the most important part. When you feel this restlessness, pause for a moment. It's like when you're driving and see a stop sign, you need to take a break and observe what is happening around you. And here's a powerful secret. This uneasiness always comes with a purpose. It is not to scare or worry us, but to prepare us. It's like when the air feels heavier before a storm, or when your body senses rain before the first drop falls. It's a sign that something is about to change. The most interesting thing is that this sign often comes hand in hand with the first one. It's like when your mother not only calls you, but also comes looking for you. The importance of the message multiplies. So hold on tight, because the third sign is even more surprising. It has to do with something that happens to all of us every single day, but very few recognize. It's about when messages start repeating. Now stay sharp, because this third sign is one of those that will make you say, "Wow, this is happening to me." Have you ever noticed that suddenly you keep seeing the same number everywhere? Or that different people tell you the same thing without even knowing each other? Well, that's the third sign. Padre Pio taught us something crucial. When a message repeats over and over again, it is not a coincidence. It's like when your mother kept reminding you 1,000 times to take a sweater. It wasn't to bother you, it was because she knew you were going to need it. Look how curious this is. These repeated messages can come in many forms. Sometimes it's a song that you hear everywhere, as if it were following you. Other times it's phrases that keep popping up on TV, on the radio, in a stranger's conversation, or even on a bus advertisement. It's as if the entire universe conspired to send you the same message. And pay close attention, because these are not just any messages. They are like those freshly made tortillas that your grandmother saved just for you. They have a personal, unique meaning. They could be words of encouragement when you need them most, or warnings that help you avoid trouble. Padre Pio said that these repetitions are like little knocks on the door of our hearts. At first, they are gentle, but if we ignore them, they become more and more obvious. It's like when a puppy wants to go for a walk. First, he looks at you, then he wags his tail, and if you still don't pay attention, he starts barking. That's how these messages work. And here's the best part. When you learn to recognize these signs, you realize that you have never been alone. They have always been there, guiding you. The key is to open your eyes, pay attention, and trust. And if until now you hadn't noticed these signs in your life, don't worry. Today, you've taken the first step in learning to see them, and once you do, everything will change. These repeated signs always come with a lesson. It's like when a teacher in school repeated something important because they knew it was going to be on the test. That's exactly how these messages work. They repeat because there's something we need to learn. But here's the key, my dear brother, my dear sister. We have to be fully awake to catch them. Sometimes we go through life in such a rush, so caught up in the noise of everyday life, that we overlook these signs, just like when you're in a hurry and don't even notice the familiar faces greeting you on the street. And hold on tight, because the fourth sign is even more impactful. It's something we have all experienced, but few associate it with a special message. It's when the body speaks to us. Pay close attention, because this is one of those signs that happens to all of us, yet almost no one knows how to interpret it. Have you ever suddenly had a headache for no apparent reason? Or felt a weight on your shoulders that just won't go away? Well, there you have it, the fourth sign that Padre Pio taught us. Our body is like that honest friend who always tells the truth, even when we don't want to hear it. Padre Pio explained that often, when something isn't right in our lives, the body is the first to let us know. It's like when your stomach churns before doing something you know you shouldn't, or when you feel a lump in your throat because there's something important you need to say but can't bring yourself to. These are not random discomforts. They are messages that our body sends us. And be careful, we're not talking about serious illnesses, but those temporary discomforts that come and go. It's like when you get a back spasm, just when you're carrying too many worries. It's your body telling you, hey, take it easy. Padre Pio left us with a key teaching about this. These physical signs are like the warning lights on a car's dashboard. They turn on to alert us that something needs attention, not to scare us, but to help us make the necessary adjustments in our lives. And the most curious part is that when we pay attention and make the changes we need, those discomforts often disappear on their own. It's like when you finally let go of a burden and suddenly you can breathe better. But let's be clear, this doesn't mean we should ignore health issues or stop going to the doctor. On the contrary, it's an invitation to be more aware of what our body is trying to tell us. Just like when your mother insisted that you dress warmly because she knew what she was doing. And get ready, because the fifth sign is one of those that makes you say, now everything makes sense. It's something that can completely change your life, the opportunities that arrive unexpectedly. Be careful with this sign, because it's one of those that can open doors you never even imagined. Have you ever had an opportunity suddenly present itself out of nowhere without any planning? Like when you find the job you always wanted just when you were about to give up. Padre Pio taught us that these coincidences are much more than just luck. Pay close attention to this. Unexpected opportunities are like those tacos you find on the corner just when you're starving. They appear at the perfect moment. They can be big or small, but they always carry a special message. Sometimes they come in the form of an unexpected phone call, other times as a casual encounter with someone who tells you exactly what you needed to hear. Padre Pio explained that these opportunities are like doors that suddenly open. And even though they might be intimidating, they bring blessings we could never have imagined. The most fascinating part is that these opportunities often come disguised as problems. It's like when you think your day is ruined because your car tire went flat. But thanks to that, you meet someone who helps you and ends up making a huge difference in your life. That's how mysterious these signs are. And they don't always appear in the form of major changes. Sometimes they are tiny details, like when someone gives you a book and inside its pages you find exactly the message you needed. Or when you get invited somewhere you thought was insignificant, only to find exactly what you were looking for. Padre Pio made one thing very clear about this. We must be awake to recognize these opportunities. It's like when your grandmother gave you advice that you didn't understand at the time, but years later, you realized how wise she was. And here's a little secret. These opportunities don't come by chance. They are like gifts chosen especially for you. They have a purpose, a special meaning. You just have to keep your eyes wide open to see them and your heart ready to receive them. And hold on, because the sixth sign is even more surprising. It has to do with encounters that seem accidental but actually carry a very special message. Get ready, because this is one of those things that gives you chills. Has it ever happened to you that you run into someone just as you were thinking about them? Or that you meet someone new and feel as if you've known them your entire life? Well, there you have it, the sixth sign that Padre Pio wanted to show us. These encounters are not coincidences. They are like when you walk into a small shop looking for something, and without even realizing it, you find exactly what you needed. Padre Pio used to say that the people who appear on our path are like little angels in disguise, arriving with a special purpose. These aren't just any encounters, they are the kind that leave you with a special feeling, like when your grandmother prepared your favorite meal without you even asking. You know there's something deeper there, and look how curious it is. Sometimes these encounters last only a moment, like when someone says a few words to you on the bus and completely changes your day. Or when you cross paths with a person who gives you a smile right when you needed it the most. It's not a coincidence. Padre Pio taught us that these encounters are like small stones marking the way. Some come to teach us something, others to remind us of an important lesson we had forgotten. It's like when your best friend shows up just when you need advice. That's how precise these moments are. The most impressive thing is that these encounters always leave a lesson. Sometimes we don't understand it at the moment. It's like those wise sayings from our grandmothers that only make sense years later. But every person who crosses our path brings a special message. That's why we must be very attentive, because these signs are like freshly made tortillas. If you don't grab them in time, they cool down. We must keep our hearts open to recognize these encounters when they happen, because they can change everything. And hold on, because the seventh and final sign is the most important of all. It is the one that ties everything together and allows us to see the full picture. It is the confirmation that comes through others. Look at this. We have reached the last sign, and this one is like that final knot that secures everything in place. Has it ever happened to you that just when you have a strong feeling about something, someone else tells you exactly what you were thinking? Or that different people who don't even know each other give you the same advice? That, my dear brother, my dear sister, is the final sign that Padre Pio revealed to us. This sign is like when the whole family agrees that your grandmother's salsa is the best. When many voices say the same thing, we must pay attention. Padre Pio explained that these confirmations are like a seal that validates what we were already feeling in our hearts. And the most curious part is that they come in the most unexpected ways. Sometimes it's the comment of a child that leaves you thinking. Other times it's the advice of a stranger who, without knowing it, repeats exactly what your heart has already been telling you. It's as if the entire universe conspired to send you the same message. And here's the most interesting part. These confirmations are often connected to the other signs we've already discussed. It's like when your mum makes pozole and all the ingredients come together to create that perfect flavor. Each sign is an ingredient that forms part of a bigger message. When we receive this seventh sign, it's like getting a green light on our path. It's the confirmation that we are headed in the right direction, that we're not crazy or imagining things. It's like when the whole family cheers you on before an important moment. The most beautiful thing about all of this is that these confirmations give us the confidence we need to take the next step. It's like when you're doubting whether to do something and suddenly all your friends tell you, "Go for it, you've got this." These 7 signs, my dear brother, my dear sister, are like a map that helps us find our way. Each one is special, each one comes at the right time. And when we learn to recognize them, our lives become clearer and more purposeful. They are like the stars that ancient Mexicans used to navigate. They are there to help us find our way. So remember, when you wake up in the middle of the night, when you feel that restlessness in your chest, when you see messages repeating, when your body speaks to you, when unexpected opportunities arise, when you have special encounters, and when you receive confirmations through others, these are not coincidences. They are signs sent especially for you. It's like preparing a good mole. Each ingredient has its importance, its moment, and its purpose. Sometimes we receive one sign, other times several at once. The key is to stay attentive and keep our hearts open to receiving them. And don't worry if at first it feels difficult to recognize them. It's like learning to make handmade tortillas. At the beginning, they come out all crooked, but with time, practice, and patience, they start coming out just right. You're getting the hang of it, right? That's exactly how these signs work. The more attention you pay to them, the easier they are to recognize. They become like that instinct that tells you when something is about to happen, like when you learn to read between the lines in a conversation. Before we say goodbye, I want you to do something important. Close your eyes for a moment and think about the past week. How many of these signs have you received without realizing it? Maybe that sleepless night you had wasn't just because of a heavy dinner. Perhaps that person you ran into on the street didn't cross your path by accident. If this message touched your heart, share it with someone who needs it, because sometimes, without realizing it, we become a sign for others. Just like when we share a family recipe that ends up helping someone else. And remember something fundamental. These signs are not meant to scare or worry us. They are like those hugs from your mother that come for no apparent reason. They come from a place of love and care. They are there to guide you, protect you, and show you the way. Don't forget to write in the comments which of these signs you have experienced. And if you know someone who is searching for answers, share this message with them, because many times the light that someone needs comes through us. May these signs illuminate your path and help you find the answers you seek. And never forget, you are not alone. The signs are there. You just have to learn to see them.